Hey, pageant fans, welcome back to another live episode of Tea Stands on Pageantry, where we talk all things pageant related. I'm your host, Teresa K. Cole, and in this episode, we are going to be talking about the recently held Miss Universe Curacao competition. I had the opportunity to watch this a couple weeks ago, and it was a really good competition. And congratulations to the winner, Kimberly. She did a phenomenal job. So I'm just gonna get right into it. So the opening number I thought looked really good. I liked that they had like a tribal feel to it, but I did feel like it was kind of long before we got to see the contestants. For me, like when I go to a pageant, I'm all about the contestants. Of course, I like the entertainment and everything, but I really want to just see the girls, to be honest. So I did think they took a long time to come out. But once they were out, they did their introductions, and I have to say, like immediately, I mean immediately when Kimberly introduced herself, and I think she was only contestant number 3. I was like, that girl will win. I don't know. She just came out. She was confident. She looked like a queen. She had great presence. She spoke well. She just had this energy about her that was just like, wow, that's the next Miss Universe Curacao, without a doubt. She is the winner, and that's exactly what happened. So they had 9 contestants overall, and you know, I like that they did this kind of like chat with the host. Sometimes we see that in Miss Universe where the contestants get to talk a little bit with the host, which I always think is nice because it's an opportunity to get to know the girls a little bit better, a great opportunity for them to showcase their personality. But I thought that these chats were a little bit too long. And I think the questions, at least for me, you guys can comment down below what you thought. I felt like the questions were just a little bit too hard hitting, like too deep. I want something more for that part of the show. I want something more lighthearted and fun and easy to answer. A lot of the questions were like really deep, and the girls were giving really good answers, but it was just very, very long. So I think if they were to do that next year, I would say just keep it short and sweet, keep it fun. So for the swimsuit segment, because that was the first segment we saw, I thought contestant number 1, I'm just going to quickly share some of my thoughts on some of the girls that I thought like stood out or caught my eye. Contestant number 1, she stood out to me. She had a great body, great smile. I thought she looked confident and she looked amazing. Like her body was really on point. I just thought that she just needed to elongate her strides a little bit more. Contestant number 3, she had a great opening turn, good posture and presence, good use of her cape, and just good poses. Number 4, oh my gosh, she has such a gorgeous smile and just a beautiful face. Number 5, she was confident. She had a nice smile. She had a great walk and a good body. And I thought that she looks unique because she had like her hair wrapped up. And I thought that was really cool to see. And I just felt like she just needed to kind of hold her poses a little bit more. I think she was moving from pose to pose a little bit too quick. And I also really like number 9. She had a good walk. I thought her poses were good. She looked really confident. The only thing I would say is that sometimes she was looking down, and that's definitely not something you want to do. You never want to just like be looking down because there's nothing on the floor for you to look at. You want to be looking out at your audience, making that eye contact with your camera. I will say that I don't think we got too many girls making eye contact with the camera. And I get it. Like for some of the smaller countries, like having the camera there, they're not really trained to like make eye contact with the camera. But it would be great if we could start teaching our contestants to do that, especially here in the Caribbean. I don't really see a lot of that happening. I think that makes all the difference when you go to Miss Universe or any international competition and there is a camera. Make that eye connection with the judges or make that eye connection with your audience. That's always key. They also had a national costume segment, which I thought was really fun. My favorites were contestants number 2, 8, and 3. I thought their costumes were really cool and really stood out to me. I really enjoyed the conversation they had with the reigning Miss Curacao, Kim Rawson. I love that her hair was different. She cut her hair, y'all. Like, she had really, really long hair. She cut it really, really short, and I like it. And she colored it, and I thought that looked really good on her. For the gown segment, I love that they had a violinist and that he was playing a lot of like pop songs. It was definitely giving me Bridgerton vibes, which I absolutely love. So that was cool to see. Uh, Again, I'm just gonna give my thoughts on evening gown. I love the pink on contestant number one. I wasn't a big fan of the capes and the arms, and I thought that she was kind of ignoring the audience a little bit, but I thought she just looked really, really beautiful. And for me, she would have definitely been moving on to, the next segment, because I know that they did do a top five. So I was impressed with her. I thought number two was gorgeous, and I love the color of her gown. It was this light aqua color. I thought she looked really beautiful in it. Number three, again, another beautiful gown. I love lavender. Purple is actually one of my favorite colors, and her dress was lavender and silver. So I thought that was great. I thought she did a good job with her walk. Like, she just has that presence. And of course, she's really, really tall, so that kind of gives her a competitive advantage. But she just looked really well, and she carried herself well. Number four, she wore red. I really thought that this color was for her. This is her color, and she had a great walk. I do think that she had a great walk in some moments, and then in other moments I felt like she was being a little bit, there was something a little bit off about the walk. Like, there was just something I couldn't pinpoint, just a little bit off with the walk at certain times. So I'm not sure what was happening there, but yeah, like, I would definitely want to see her work on her walk a little bit more. Um, Number five, number five, she wore this yellow gown, and I thought it was hella sexy on her. And she's got beautiful dark skin, so I thought the yellow was the perfect color for her. It really popped on her skin complexion, so she looks really stunning in that. And then number nine went for a royal blue gown, which I do love a royal blue gown. She had like the gloves and everything, and a really high slit, so it was giving elegance, and she just looks incredible in it. So the semifinalists were contestant number one, contestant number three, contestant number five, contestant number nine, and contestant number four. No surprises, really. I definitely thought that those were the ladies that stood out the most to me from the swimsuit and the evening gown competition. So from there, they went on to answer a few questions. So very quickly, contestant number nine, her question was, should our country legalize the cultivation of marijuana for medical use? And I'm just going to summarize her answer. She basically said that, she agrees with that if it's being used properly and if it's being used with the right regulations, which I thought was fair answer to give. However, I felt like her delivery was not as strong as it could have been. She seemed very nervous and just very unsure. So this is a teaching moment, guys. Like, it's sometimes it's not about what you say, but how you say it. If you can really leave people feeling confident and inspired by you, then you've done your job. And I felt like she was definitely nervous, and it showed in her face and in her voice. You could hear it. So I feel like that would have definitely made her lose some points there. So the next one was contestant number five, and her question is, do you think that our teachers should have a more prominent role in the formation of our youth? And she basically said she definitely feels that way, and that they need to be more aware of what the youth are going through, and that she spoke about how proud she was of her community, and how many organizations there are that are dedicated to the youth. And, she talks about supporting the dreams and the potential of the youth and empowering them to do big things, which overall I did think was a good answer. I thought that she sounded very confident and very outspoken, but I feel like what was missing from this answer for me was more of her own personal experience. Like, I would have liked to have heard from her, maybe a teacher who inspired her, or a teacher who she felt went above and beyond their role and was really a mentor or role model or something like that. I just think like it needed to tie back to her as an individual. So contestant number three got the question of, what is the best weapon to fight human trafficking? Now, this was an interesting question. I don't know a whole lot about Curacao, so it was very interesting to hear this question being asked. And I think the audience too was a little bit like, they you could tell that they thought this question was a tough question as well. But overall, I do think that Kimberly handled this question well. She talked about how awareness and education is the best weapon, and that she didn't really know a whole lot about human trafficking in Curacao before entering this competition. And she talked about how every human life is valuable, and that she wants to be a voice for this issue and any other issues affecting humanity, which I just thought was beautiful. She handled it well. She was very confident in her answer, and she spoke well. And I think that for a question like that, and you can tell the audience was like, ooh, they were like, ooh, that question's kind of hard. But she handled it really, really well. So kudos to her on that. It definitely seemed, I will say, like they got these questions based on the way they were speaking. It definitely seemed like they got these questions, like the topics, maybe not the exact questions, but the topics beforehand. So I think that also really helps. Contestant number 4, her question was, should religion be a part of our country's debate for making same-sex marriage legal? And she basically said, everyone has the right to their beliefs. Same-sex marriage is a basic human right. Everyone has the right to marry the love of their life, and she has witnessed same-sex marriage in her family, and she believes we should all live in a world where love is in our connections and humanity. And I thought that was a really, really beautiful answer. She handled it well. Like, again, a very sensitive topic, but she personalized it. And I think that makes all the difference in an answer. And, I think that, again, this could have been a very tough answer for anyone. And she did a good job with it. Contestant number 1's question was, do you think that AI should be used as a tool or banned from our educational system, and why? And she talks about how we have to appreciate AI and that it can really help us, grow and work more efficiently. And she talks about focusing on growing more in all fields and trying not to focus too much on just using AI in its entirety. I do feel like her answer was a bit repetitive and could have gone a bit deeper and just had more substance to it. I do feel like there was a little bit of rambling happening there. So after listening to the question and answer segment, my favorites, or who I would have moved on to a top 5, were contestant number 5, contestant number 3, and contestant number 4. And that's exactly who moved on to the top 3. And so it's interesting that they did the top 3, but it seemed like the top 3 all got different questions again. And for me, I feel like, okay, you just done a top 5 where everybody answered different questions. I think for a top 3, everyone should answer the same question so we can really do some comparative analysis there. I think it's a little bit hard when you have the questions are a bit different for each girl. It's kind of hard to really judge that. So I would have preferred if the top 3 at least had the same question. So contestant number 5 went first, and her question was, if you could give a message to little girls all over the world watching you right now, what would you tell them? And she talks about her purpose in life, which is to inspire through words and be an example, a living proof that where you come from and the language you speak doesn't define your success. You can achieve anything in life. And then she spoke a little bit in Spanish, I think. And then she talked about how we as women are more than what they teach us, and we can keep growing. So she said something like, she spoke directly to the young girls, and she said, keep growing, baby girl. You are capable of everything in this life. And I thought that this was so inspiring, the way that she ended it, the way she, from beginning to end, it was really well done. She talked about, that we can achieve anything in life. And I thought that was such a powerful message to give. So I thought she did a fantastic job with this answer. Contestant number 4, her question was, if you become our next Miss Universe Curacao, what would you want your reign to symbolize? And I thought this was a good question. And she said strength. She's gone through a lot in life, and life is filled with ups and downs, challenges that make you better and stronger. And she wants to be the light that lightens the universe, illuminating paths for a brighter tomorrow. Again, a beautiful answer. However, I do feel like it lacked a little bit more substance. Like, she talks about how she went through a lot in life. Okay, that's great. But in order for us to take that answer to the next level and really connect with you and for you to be really relatable to other people, it would have been nice for her to highlight an example of some of the challenges that she faced in her life. And then maybe in the context of Curacao, the people there know her and know some of the things that she's gone through. So maybe the judges may have, maybe in their interview, maybe she spoke about that. So, but then for people like me who are watching it and not very familiar with the contestants, it would have been nice to hear that, a little bit of information about her background and like what are the challenges that she's faced, because I think that helps to make her more relatable and it just makes us understand her a little bit better. Contestant number 3, her question was, what's the true essence of being a woman? And she said the true essence is she's determined. She's determined to follow her dreams and she will achieve anything and everything. She's a loving mother, a sister, a child. Women are all powerful. But I felt like this answer, so she ended with something like women are all powerful. It wasn't super memorable for me, and it wasn't like I was rooting for her, but this just didn't really, it didn't nail it. It wasn't as powerful, I felt like, as contestant number 5. I felt contestant number 5 really got you in the heart, whereas contestant number 3, I felt like it lacked that deep substance that we love to hear. There was nothing truly memorable or exciting or inspiring about this message, and there definitely could have been. I wish that she spoke more about herself in this question. That would have been really good to hear from her. But anyway, after that, we had the final walk by Kim. I have to say, though, to be completely honest, that I didn't love her final gown or like the hairstyle. I felt like it was giving me Miss Teen vibes with the curls and stuff. I much rather her had wore her hair straight. I think that would have been more age appropriate for her. The final results were: second runner-up was contestant number 4, first runner-up contestant number 5, and the winner was contestant number 3, Kimberly. So they went from Kim to Kimberly, which is funny because Kimberly is my middle name. So yeah, again, I thought I don't disagree with these results. I definitely think Kimberly, when it came to the stage performance of it, she had that down pat and she really just had strong presence. And I think that is something that will stand out at Miss Universe. So I think they made the right decision there. I think she can definitely work more on her question and answer segment a little bit more, just to find a way to be more to give more depth, to reach deeper and to give more substance in her answers so that it can be more relatable to a wider audience. Contestant number 5, I loved her. She really pulled on my heartstrings. She did a great job, and I hope that she returns and competes again, or that we see her in another pageant, because she did a really good job. So yeah, as usual, the winner was crowned by, I think it's their prime minister. And I know a lot of people always say this, that they don't like it, but it's not my cup of tea, but it is their tradition of having their prime minister crown the new queen. I just want to say, like, can we teach them how to crown the new queen? Can we do a little test run to make sure that, they're doing it in a way that it looks nice in photos? Yeah, I would just say that if we're gonna do that, let's train them and make sure they know the way to do it right. I didn't see her do her first walk, which I kind of like to see them do their first walk and wave and everything, but I don't know, maybe there just wasn't enough space on the stage. I did love the confetti. That's something that I wish that we did here in Cayman, is have confetti for the winner, like a big woo. I think that that's always fun to see. But yeah, I thought it was an overall enjoyable experience. I really like that even though they only had 9 girls, and they did a top 5 and then a top 3, and I feel like hearing came on, that's something that we should be doing. This year we have 7 girls in our pageant, so I don't know if I don't think they'll be inclined to do that in Miss Universe. But for the years before, when they had 9 girls, I always said, like, why isn't there a top 5, top 3, and then crown your winner? But hopefully this will inspire my country to see that it can be done and there's nothing wrong with doing that. So yeah, overall great experience. Love watching Miss Universe Curacao. Hoping to definitely see Kimberly place this year. I know Curacao is one of those countries that has been up and coming, and they definitely seem to have like the coaching and stuff down pat. So I'm looking forward to seeing her transformation and seeing her come to Miss Universe with even more stage presence and even stronger skills. So definitely looking forward to that. All right, guys. I want to hear from you though. Comment down below. What were your thoughts on the overall pageant this year? What did you think of the contestants? How do you feel about Kimberly? Do you think that she's going to place in Miss Universe? What do you think she needs to work on? I definitely think it's question and answer, but I'm definitely wanting to hear from you guys. So be sure to leave your comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, have a great week. Bye.